1813. That's 800-918-1813. Call now.
You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
All right, great friends. It is a Monday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios, and while we're in here, man, there is just mayhem and craziness going on inside of these studios right now as we speak, because Grande and Brown Man, take a look behind me. Look what's going on here. For all these months and years since what, October of 2019, when we built this studio, now we went from construction to now deconstruction. Look what is going on behind me here. Grande, Brown Man, what do you guys think? Very emotional for me this weekend, by the way, as it was all being packed up and things are happening. I got movers in here right now. I've got Patrick and Jennifer and Noah from Electronic ER. Am I saying the name of the company right? Electronic ER. They're taking down TVs. They're taking down electronics. This is literally happening in the podcast / radio show / TV show. It's all happening right now. Browner, what do you think about what's going on here? Because you're giving me a look.
Bro, I thought somebody had broke in at first. I was like, wait a minute, bro. You got robbed on Christmas? But now that makes more sense.
Yeah, man. I'm not emotional because I haven't been in that house since March of 2020. So we were only in there for like 4 months, I think.
Yeah.
But it is kind of stunning to see that it is all the hard work we put into putting everything in there it's all gone. It's gone. And the original home of Kaplan and Crew.
Right. And the reason it's gone is because of this massive flood in my house. Had this flood not ever happened, I wouldn't be in this position today where we are getting to the end of the year. And for the last 2 months, been displaced from my home. The only room in the entire house that worked was the studio, my laundry room, and the garage. And now I got to get everything out because all the construction is beginning here at the top of the new year. And it's going to take months and months, and it's going to be noisy and loud because noisy and loud are the same things. And it's going to be
tearing the house down.
Well, it's being completely redone. The whole inside of the house is being completely redone because of all the damage, all the mold damage.
And you're moving.
And I got to go. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of this house for like the next 6 months. So as much as it seemed like, okay, no big deal, there's a construction zone going on over there, but the office is still fine. Now the office got to go too. So this comes at the craziest time of the year. But I will say this.
Why don't you just move to the basement?
Well, the basement's very small.
Hey.
Very small. Really scary down there.
Soundproof. I bet it's soundproof.
I don't know, man. It's scary down there. I don't know what lives down there, but it's going to get me.
You ever been down there?
Yeah, a couple times I've been down there.
I don't even think I fit.
Oh, dude, it's hard to get down there. And I hit my head every time I come up the
I looked
stairs.
in there once and I was like, nope.
But I want to say this. Even though it is the Monday after the holiday weekend, and I hope that everybody watching and listening had a wonderful holiday weekend. I know I've been going hard for like the last 3-4 days, but I wanted to get on the air today and spend time with Grande and Brown Man, even though I'm not going to be able to make it the whole day. I'm going to hand it off to these guys, and I think we're all in good hands. But I had to come on the air today for a few storylines. By the way, Alex, look at me for a second. Remember that time I went on KUSI and your friends were all like, is that Scott? Because he looks all disheveled on TV.
Oh,
What do you think everybody watching Channel 4 San Diego tonight is going to be thinking? Look at this. Hey, listen, this is all natural. This is not dressed up, made up hair for TV. This is I'm in the middle of having to move out of this joint. And you're getting real right here. This is raw. This is behind the scenes, but yet in front of the scenes. You understand?
Mm-hmm. I hope this doesn't come off as a dick thing to say, but you look kind of the same to me.
Yeah, I was like, hair and makeup. What? When?
Yeah, Browner, don't they do your hair and makeup before you go?
Yeah, Browner, I don't know about you, but I mean, Mar hooks me up, man. You don't think I get this? You think I look this pretty just cause? Like, Mar hooks it up.
Look what's going on here. Hold on a second. I just want you guys to see. I'm moving. Look what's going on here. Look at these guys. Look,
that's the big TV.
Dude, they're moving out the 80-inch right now. They're literally picking up the 80-inch and moving it right out of the studio.
That's the one that was on the roller that took us forever.
Yeah. They just pulled it right off the roller.
Have they got the one off the wall, like directly in front of you?
No, that's coming off soon.
I'm supposed to come there after the show today. Are you gonna even be available,
dude?
Does your printer even work? Your computer work? Like, what's happening?
I asked him, please don't disconnect the printer, and I still haven't turned off the Wi-Fi yet. I know, dude. Dude, can you imagine? Look, you're in the middle of the football season. I came on the air today for one reason. Well, a couple of reasons. One, I have to at least laugh a little bit at the Chargers. But and listen, hey, the Charger trolls out there, I was barely watching the game. I was watching the Rams and the Vikings because it was so much more of an important game, and I expected it to be so much more of a competitive game, which it was. How could the Chargers, all the hype around the Chargers, how could you lose? And not just lose, get beat up by the Houston Texans.
As bad as your place and you look 10 times better than the Chargers did yesterday. Like, that was, I mean, there's no other word that came to my mind but embarrassing. Like, legitimately, it's week 16, Scott. Week 16. And basically like a easy win. And they did that. Ooh.
How do you lose to the Houston Texans this week? Like, you're battling for your playoff lives. What I'm seeing is this. I'm looking into my crystal ball, and I got to see the next 2 weeks. The Chargers play the Broncos, and then they finish with the Raiders, right?
Yeah, at Denver versus Raiders.
Okay. The Raiders are in Vegas. The game's in Vegas, right?
No, at Denver, and then versus the Raiders at home.
Oh, really?
Then it don't matter.
Why are they doing the Bolt Pride 30-year anniversary reunion? Why are they doing it in Vegas on January 9th?
Did I screw that up?
I don't know. Yes, they're at the Raiders. They are. They're home versus the Broncos.
Oh, I flipped.
Then they're at the Raiders. Okay. Could you imagine? Listen, let's just play this out for a second. The Raiders and the Chargers are tied. Okay. What if the Raiders, because the Chargers will play the Broncos this week. What if the Chargers lose to the Broncos and the Raiders lose at the Colts? And then it all comes down to the Chargers Raiders in the final week for potentially one of those two teams making the playoffs. Can that possibly mathematically happen?
Well,
the way lose, no.
The way I look at it is I think the Chargers will beat the Broncos and the Raiders will lose to the Colts. But then the Raiders could theoretically beat the Chargers, and I don't know who has a tiebreaker at that point after Week 18. Because then they would have split the season series 1-1.
Well, someone explain to me this then. How is it that the greatest coach on the planet, Brandon Staley, how is it that this guy, what, Browner, he's the best coach? This is your coach. How is it a guy who had the number one defense in the NFL last year with the LA Rams comes to the Chargers? And granted, there's no Joey Bosa in this game, no Austin Eckler in this game. But how do you go on the road and lose to the Houston Texans this late in the season? How does that happen? Because, again, I'm just telling you right now, for everybody that thinks I'm consumed and obsessed with the Chargers, I was watching the Rams versus the Vikings. Alex, your Vikings, they almost – well, yeah, we know that, but they were competitive and they had their chances, plenty of chances.
Stop it with that competitiveness. Stop it. They weren't going to win that game.
No,
Come
on.
Never going to
win that game.
Come on.
Matt Stafford tried, though. Hey, Matt Stafford really tried to have the Vikings win that game.
Well, he really had that Lions jersey. He had that Lions jersey on underneath, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Matt Stafford from the Lions I saw yesterday. Jeez Louise, bro.
Yeah. I love how Browner says, don't say that they're competitive, because Browner's feeling pretty good about himself. Browner, do you know that last night when I stopped paying attention to the Seahawks-Bears game, the Seahawks were up 17-7, and I thought it was a foregone conclusion that they won the game? How is it your Bears came back and beat the Seahawks? And am I to get this right? No Justin Fields, no Andy Dalton. Nick freaking Foles comes from out of nowhere to win the game for the Bears.
Hell froze over yesterday. Clearly. There's no explanation for that. That win, quote unquote, that win is going to get everybody fired. It's going to get everybody fired. So you basically gave Andy Dalton $10 million when Nick Foles can do basically the same thing, if not better. Like, what?
Well, we talked about that.
What?
Yeah, that was what was so insane about the whole thing, was that we talked about that. It's like, why are you trading like for Nick Foles? Like, I mean, none of these moves made sense.
None
for
of
the Bears.
None of them. Everybody.
And then it's clear, Scott. I mean, I watched a lot of that game. I don't know why. Oh, maybe it was one of the afternoon games. There's only 3 of them, and they were all awful. Nick Foles is the best quarterback on the team right now. Like, right now, if you wanted to win right now, he gives you the best chance week in, week out.
I would say this. He's better than Andy Dalton because he has a better understanding of Matt Nagy's offense and the principles that particular style of offense is based on. So he can do better within the offense. If you're asking who gives him the best chance to win at quarterback, the position is Justin Fields. But Clearly, Nick Foles knew the offense better. He was getting the ball out of his hand. He knew where guys would be. He was directing guys pre and post snap. So he knows the style of offense better. He knew how to read the defenses better. So he could be better within the offense. That is correct.
Nick Foles should feel terrible. Nick Foles should feel awful because Nagy and Pace, they're gone. Like we all know that. That's a foregone conclusion.
Yes.
But now Nick Foles probably got like Pete Carroll fired or John Schneider fired too.
Yeah, he definitely got somebody on the other side fired.
He got somebody else on the Seahawks fired too.
Yeah.
You know, like Russell Wilson might be traded now. Like this he did some damage in Seattle.
That was bad. Really?
You think so?
Both sides, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
Yeah.
Under construction.
Man, that's
Yellow
3
card.
and 2 shows, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, you on fire.
I mean, look, I got very little business being on the air today with you guys. I mean, seriously. I mean, I got very little business right now. I got movers here moving stuff. I got all kinds of craziness and chazarai going on around me.
Who?
And
Chazarai.
What's that? Is that a
It's, you know,
superhero
just-
from Marvel?
No,
Chaos.
It should be a new superhero from Marvel. It's a good idea, as a matter
Oh,
of
that'd
fact.
be great.
The Jewish one. You
What's
know,
his
they call
name?
Captain Chazarai.
Oh.
Just creates mayhem wherever he goes.
I
Captain
see.
Chazarai has arrived.
Sounds like a villain.
God, like so since you have no business being here and you're
Yeah.
only here for a limited amount of time,
Yeah.
if you were here
Yeah.
for a regular show,
Yeah.
and if you were gonna be here all like and you said like I paid more attention to the Rams Vikings than I did the Chargers, but I was stunned that the Bears did this. After like this weekend was pretty cool for the NFL. It was very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? What would you start this show with? Not what is the story, top story. What do you start this show with?
Well, today I think I would have started with. Again, I'm just letting everybody know. Like I was busy all weekend dealing with this right here, what you're looking at. And for those of you that are listening, my studio in my house being completely taken
Torn
apart.
down.
Yeah, torn down. So between Christmas parties and all the eating and drinking, by the way, I set a new world record on Saturday for the most pork consumed by a Jewish person on planet Earth in the history of the earth. That's right. No, it's true. Started the morning with like lots and lots of bacon. Okay. Made a
Nice.
huge breakfast with tons of bacon. Then later in the day, went to like a lunchy dinner kind of a thing where I pounded on that honey baked ham. Forget about that. And then later on that night, I went to some people's house for a party and they had smoked pulled pork. And I was like, oh, I got to have some of that.
Hell
So
yeah.
this was a new world record. The most pork consumed by a Jewish person on planet Earth in the history of the planet. That was me on Saturday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm going
That's a
into the
big
Guinness book. Yeah. Going into the Guinness book. It's all being sponsored by cholesterol medications.
Who do you think when you do an achievement like that? Like who do you
think?
Who's
Not
on
his, not his rabbi.
No, you don't thank your rabbi for something like that. You don't thank
because
your grandmother.
you overcame a lot to win this award. It's
Right.
not like you just fell out of bed and did this. Like
Right.
this took work.
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm going to thank my grandmother. Hey, grandma, thanks for raising me kosher.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
for having never eaten bacon in your life, I'm making up for you. You know, God rest your soul. That kind of thing. Yeah, you peace out.
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what I would say. If today were a normal day and my studio weren't being destroyed and I wasn't having to move offices and everything else, I would definitely think that today I would start with the collapse of the Cardinals and the rise of the Rams. Because just a few weeks ago, we thought the Cardinals were much better and the Rams have come back and the Cardinals have fallen apart. So I think I might have started there with the AFC West. I would have probably, Alex, transitioned quickly into the Chargers and the Raiders, because for the Chargers to lose a game against a team like Houston this late in the season, if you drop a game in week 3 or week 4, okay, fine.
Right.
You know, you get to this part of the season, and please don't tell me about Joey Bosa being out or Austin Eckler being out. The Chargers should have had enough firepower, given the timing of the year and some of the big wins or some of the great games that they've played recently, win or lose. They should easily have enough firepower to go to Houston and beat one of the worst teams in the entire NFL. Am I wrong?
No.
I want to make sure.
I mean,
clear.
Davis Mills, who was the starting quarterback for the Texans, had one career win going into yesterday, and that was against the Jaguars.
You mean
And-
Davis Dan Marino Mills?
Right. That's how bad the Chargers made him look. And they made Rex Burkhead look like, I don't know, Barry Sanders yesterday. And the Texans themselves, so you want to talk about Bosa, Mike Williams, and Eckler, the Texans didn't have their best receiver. They had missing 3 offensive linemen, all 4 starting defensive linemen. Their starting linebacker. They had 16 guys on the COVID list. Only 2 of them practice squatters. So you can't. No one has everybody right now. So I think Justin Herbert played awful. The defense is awful, and we can talk about numbers later. That was just an inexcusable loss. Like, I don't know where you want to blame that. You can blame it on many things, but I will just say that's an inexcusable loss for the Chargers. If you're trying to be a real playoff contender, like, that ain't it.
What do you got to say about that, Browner? That's your team. I warned everybody that this was coming. You build them up, you hype them up, and then they find a way to crash right back down to earth. Losing to Kansas City, there's no embarrassment in that, okay? Losing to Houston this late in the season, the way Alex just laid it out with all the different people that are out, an entire defensive line, 16 players, and one of the worst teams in the NFL all season long, Jacksonville, the New York Jets, and the Houston Texans, and the Chargers lay that kind of an egg?
Look, man, I got to tell you, I was shocked. I was a tad embarrassed. My LA team, we went down. But this has been the NFL all year. All year. Every team, every contending team has one of these losses, every single one. There's not a team this year that doesn't have one of these. So, I mean, all that tells me is that you are good because people expect you to win this game. I mean, I didn't look at that as if, oh, now it's over, because it's not over. They're still in the playoff hunt. There's still 2 games left. The Ravens have a road far harder than anybody else's. So I didn't look at it as if, oh, man, this took the air out of the wind out of the sails. I just looked like this was a terrible, terrible, ugly, embarrassing loss.
Okay, so Alex, you asked about where I would start on a normal day. I said Rams and their comeback, the Cardinals and their collapse, the Chargers falling apart the way they did yesterday, the Raiders keeping it alive. I love the Raiders story. I don't think it's getting anywhere near enough credit for losing their coach, losing their top 2 draft choices over the last year, all the craziness that's happened around them. So I'd start there. But then, even as I talk about the Bears, and Browner would brag about the Bears winning, even though it probably killed him that the team won without Justin Fields. But here's the thing. Let me throw one other thing at you. How's that bust in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow? He's horrible, that guy, right, Browner? That Joe Burrow is horrendous. What a terrible player he is.
Come on, guy. Really? That's what you're turning to? He piled on a team at the end of the game when it was like purposeless. Like, all right, cool, good for you. Good for you. You know what's funny about that? When I saw that and then I heard his remarks, I thought that's exactly what I expect from a guy like that. You better get it while you can, because he knows.
It was his remarks.
He knows about piling on, about running up the score.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't paying any attention to any of those. I just was looking at the numbers. 500+ yards passing. He's terrible. What a bust. He's awful. I mean, I'd much rather have Justin Fields right now than Joe Burrow.
Jamarcus Russell once threw 400 yards. Where he at?
Really?
Is he working at a Denny's somewhere?
He might be, but you're comparing Joe Burrow to Jamarcus Russell, really?
You're the one telling me he threw for 500. Oh, he threw for 500 yards?
Yeah.
Cool, bro.
His team's in first place, too. Cool, bro.
Good luck with that. There's still 2 weeks left.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tightest division. That's one of the tightest divisions in the league. They could be out of the playoffs in 2 weeks.
Well, you just don't like it when you're wrong, do you?
No. I don't have no problem with being wrong. I say a lot of stuff. Sometimes you're wrong. Nobody's perfect.
I'm wrong all the time. What do you get so upset about?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying nobody's better than 1,000.
Joe Burrow bust
like
that was way out.
It wasn't, and then like it wasn't like when you just say, oh yeah, he threw for 500 yards. Cool. He threw for the 4th most yards in NFL history in a game. 4th. Like, not Peyton Manning didn't do that. Tom Brady didn't do that.
Wait, okay.
Unimpressive.
You were piling on. What
do you mean piling on? What do you mean piling on?
Well, listen, the score was, let me see, because I got
and
it
Jamarcus
right.
Russell never threw for 300 yards. I just looked at his game log. I love when you say things. I'm just going to go look because I know you didn't look. I just went to go look. Jamarcus Russell never once threw for 300 yards. I think 277.
Where he at? He working at a Denny's. Yeah.
He working at a Denny's, man.
All right,
never once.
Well, Browner's
41-21. It's 41-21. Those are garbage yards. Get out of here.
Okay.
All right.
It's his fault they won big.
So
now
this
it's
is
his fault they won 2. They won now, Scott. Now Like, he's a bust because they won too big.
Right. Yeah, he's just a bust. I just had to come on just for a little bit of fun today. I'm handing things off to Grande and the Brown Man, who are going to get much more detailed from here in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Before I do sign out today, I want to remind everybody this holiday season and everything that's going on out there, because I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of people all of a sudden vaxxed, double vaxxed, boosted, and have COVID. And by the way, it's like a cold, and they're fine. They're getting through it. But the numbers of people that are not vaccinated that are going into the hospitals now, dude, it's scary out there. So I know for me, what I want to do is I'm trying to create a force field right here. This body right here, force field. I Thrive MD, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497, NAD, testosterone, B12, vitamin C, you name it. I want it put right in here into this body because I want this holiday season to still be going great. I want to enjoy the new year and everything else that's going on. I don't want to get sick. And I'm not saying that it's, supposed to keep COVID away. I'm just saying that I want the body to be as healthy as possible. Browner, Grande, guys, I got to hustle, man. Have a great show today. All right. Thank you guys for working during the holiday season. I say that to the grocery store workers. I'm like, yo, thanks for being here. I say it to people in restaurants. Thanks for being here. Thank you two guys, because it's Monday. And on a Monday, after an NFL weekend like we just saw, people are going to want to talk about it. They're going to want to hear about it, listening on radio, podcasting, whatever, watching on television at night. So I'm going to say this. I got to go help get all this crap out of here. You guys have a great show. All right. And I will be back with you tomorrow from, I don't know where the hell I'm going to be. Until then, stick around. More on what happened yesterday around the NFL. This is Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Rich Eisen here, inviting you to catch my show, The Rich Eisen Show, on our flagship radio station, the mightier 1090. We're on every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You'll like what you hear. If not, that's just, I guess, too bad.
A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090. Right now at BMW San Diego. Get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163, and BMWSanDiego.com.
When California weather conditions create a high risk for wildfires, electric companies may shut off power in some neighborhoods as a precaution. These public safety power shutoffs could affect homes and businesses and interrupt power to your home, devices, and even our Cox facilities. During a PSPS, we'll work hard to keep customers connected to their Cox services in conditions that are safe for you, our employees, and our community. For information and updates, follow us on Twitter and visit Cox.com.
Right now at BMW San Diego. Get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163, and BMWSanDiego.com.
Time now for Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Community Connect. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Last month, the Orange County Soccer Club hosted its second Corporate Cup, pitting local businesses against one another in a competitive round-robin soccer tournament, with the finalists playing at Championship Stadium after the Orange County SC home game on Wednesday, October 20th.
Really a great opportunity to get our whole company and our families out here together, spending time for a good cause and really enjoying it.
Co-ed teams from a variety of industries showed up at the Great Park Fields in Irvine to participate in the charity tournament, with the proceeds going to the OCSC Community Foundation to help further its mission to use soccer as a vehicle to promote health and wellness, support and empower youth, foster an inclusive environment, and unify the local community.
We feel great about giving back to our community. Experian is a company that tries to give back in many ways, and just being able to support this cause is awesome. Anything that we can do to kind of support Orange County, we're all about it.
It was a fun day out on the field with 16 teams battling it out for bragging rights to see who moved on to the finals.
They've been taking it pretty seriously so far. A lot of them have been practicing in the weeks leading up. They've got their own custom jerseys, and you can tell they're having a great time just getting out of the office on a Friday on a beautiful day here at the Orange County Great Park.
The team members were extremely excited and passionate. We got more than expected entries, and we had to tell people to just show up and cheer the team.
Participating companies were also treated to meet and greets and private coaching sessions with OCSC players and coaches.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Community Connect is fueled by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Hey, Dave Smith here. Make sure you listen to my show on the Mightier 1090, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday night. The only local sports talk in all of Southern California on the weekends, right here on the Mightier 1090.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
Food insecurity is defined as not having sufficient resources to buy food either for yourself or for your family. Folks who are food insecure struggle with not having enough food to eat because maybe they lost their jobs. It is important to not just look at one person as being food insecure, but really looking at them as it could be anyone. The San Diego Food Bank has been around for over 40 years. Our job is to help procure food for San Diego County residents to make sure that no one is going to bed hungry. Accessing food from the San Diego Food Bank is very simple. A lot of our distributions right now are operating as drive-through distributions, so they are safe to attend if you are concerned with getting out of your vehicle and walking into a food pantry. The San Diego Food Bank needs your continued support. Please visit our website at sandiegofoodbank.org, and there you will see all of the different ways that you too can get involved.
There's a difference between just getting there and enjoying the journey. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, we put you in the driver's seat of the best cars around. From our stylish crossover SUVs to our classic sedans and sports cars. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, your good credit and trade-in can turn into the Mazda of your dreams. Start enjoying your drive with a new Mazda today. Visit Team Mazda of El Cajon.
Here's Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
San Diego State football won the Frisco Bowl on Tuesday night. The Aztecs took down UTSA 38-24 to earn their 12th win of the season, the first time in program history that SDSU has 12 wins in a season. Quarterback Lucas Johnson had a career-best 333 passing yards and 3 touchdowns while also rushing for a touchdown. Kicker punter Matt Araiza had a 33-yard field goal and finished the season with an NCAA record 51.19 yards per punt. Araiza beat the record set by Texas A&M punter Braden Mann in 2018. SDSU trailed in the first quarter before taking the lead heading into the half. Then in the third quarter, they continued to hold off UTSA to get the bowl win. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance. Brought to you by Prospect Home Finance. Fast, friendly, affordable.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Kaplan and Crew. Alex Padilla, John Browner. We got you guys for the rest of the way. If you missed segment 1, I promise you guys go back to the YouTube page and go watch what's happening at Scott's house. It's completely just
disaster.
It's a disaster. The official Kaplan and Crew studio is no more. Today was the last time you're ever going to see that studio. Some place that we called home from. Was it October? He said October, but it might have been a little earlier. It might have been like August or September of 2019.
It was definitely September.
Yeah. So that
the end of September
studio, the 7 Mile Casino studio, is moving, and we don't know where yet. But Scott will be back with us tomorrow, and then we're gonna take a little break. So we're off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Scott, you know how Scott called me this morning, dude, and he goes, so just want to let you know what's happening. I'm like, okay. Well, I already know everything that's happening because you called me yesterday, and I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, and then we're supposed to take like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, do we want to do that? And I was like, what? Yeah. What do you mean? And he's like, well, I was just making sure that we wanted to still take those days off. I was like, aren't you going to be in Atlanta? And he's like, yeah. I was like, so how would you do it? And he's like, well, and I'm like, yeah. And then
not him, us.
Yeah, us. And then I was like, no, you can't do this to me again, because we were supposed to have all week off. So I made plans Monday and Tuesday. Like today, I had a doctor's appointment I had to cancel because we made plans to take it off. And I was like, I just put my foot down, Brown. I was like, no, you know what?
No.
I'm taking them off, dude. Taking them off. If Browner wants to do a show, he can do a show. But I myself, Alex Padilla, am out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we will be here today. And then Scott supposedly will be back tomorrow. I have no idea where he's doing the show from tomorrow.
He's going to be doing a show from his phone in his car. So it'll be just about what you think it'll be.
Yeah. So anyways, we're here with you guys. It's a Monday coming off an NFL weekend that, to me, there's so many storylines, dude. But here in Southern California, obviously you got the Chargers. Listen, you can, Brownie, I don't know what you want to say, but this is what they do. We've seen them do it year in, year out. Doesn't matter what the coach is. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Doesn't matter who's on the team. Doesn't matter where they play, frankly. They were doing this in San Diego. And I always try to tell the Charger lovers still, this isn't us just slamming them. This is us knowing history and how it has been this way for years. It's been this way since they were in San Diego. It wasn't like they were some notorious all-time winning team when they were in San Diego either. They were always talented. They were always media darlings. They were always picked to win the division, and yet they never really did. I don't think they've won the division. I got to look it up because I didn't, but 2012 sounds right, but I'll look it up right now. My point is, this is what they do. Brandon Staley can be Bill Belichick. I still think, Browner, I'm not even exaggerating. If Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were the duo here with the Chargers, it would still be the same thing, bro. Still be the same thing.
Look, man.
It is cursed.
Look, man. I'm gonna state this again because I don't think people understand what I'm saying. You should, of all people, understand this. Look at the NFL this year. That loss has happened to every contending team. The Patriots have had one. The Bills had one against the Patriots.
This is not the Chargers first.
The Bills lost to Jacksonville. Yeah. It happens. This year,
Vikings beat the Chargers.
This year, you've had some losses where people go, wait, what? Like the Lions beat the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
We've had losses this year that were unexplainable. Throw this log on the fire.
The Chargers got smoked by the Broncos.
Right. But out of nowhere.
But Browner, it's not week 2 anymore. It's not week 8 anymore. It's not even
you.
This is week 16 when you're fighting for a playoff spot. You're fighting for a playoff spot against a team that has more COVID players on their COVID list than you do. So yes, I understand you don't have Joey Bosa. Yes, I get you don't have Austin Eckler and Mike Williams. But you still have Justin Herbert. You still have Keenan Allen. You still have all the other guys that are still there.
But what did I say 4 weeks ago? 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said this on the show. Guys who get their first opportunity. guys who get their first taste. If you're on the Texans and you're the backup of the backup, right? Or you're only playing because of COVID. This is your opportunity. This is your paycheck for next year. So you finna sell out. You finna play as hard as you can. You finna put film out there of you doing your thing against a team that's a playoff contender. So the fact that they got ran over because the team had more energy, the team had more fight, I 100% understand that. Because
so you still trust this team then? Like if this is a team that can be beaten simply because the other team tried harder, that's what you're saying. The other team tried harder, and that's why they got run over.
Yes.
That's why they got blown out because they gave up 24 points in the fourth quarter because the Texans were trying harder.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not trying to hide it. Yeah, the Texans played harder. They tried harder than the Chargers yesterday.
So next week, if the Broncos try harder with Drew Lock, they'll win again?
Yes.
So it's all about trying hard.
No,
it's all about in the NFL. It's all about trying hard.
It's a combination of things. It's a combination of things. One, it's human nature. You know you're playing the Texans, so your focus won't be what your focus is. Let's say last week when you were playing the Chiefs, or if you were playing the Tampa Bay or Green Bay, one of the more upper echelon teams. If you're playing the Texans, who've been terrible all year, they've got all these people out from COVID. You're not paying as much attention in meetings.
And
you're not locked in. Huh?
And whose fault is that?
The coach's fault.
Right.
This loss is on the coaching staff. Yeah, the guys went out. Herbert was not great. I understand that. But this is a motivational situation. This is where the coaching staff earns their money by keeping guys on point all week to come in and blow this team out in the first quarter and have the game be over by then. Because that team was ready to lay down, but you got to lay them down first. And they never did. They kept making it a game. If you notice, this is something that I saw from the game that I took really interesting. Normally, Staley goes for it on fourth down. He was kicking field goals yesterday.
Yeah,
you know why?
He told us that he was not going to kick field goals, that he was going to keep going for it on fourth down.
He was kicking field goals yesterday because he knew that they could beat that team.
When they were playing the field goals yesterday because he is a liar. Because he cannot tell me that after that Chiefs game that he's still confident in going for it with this team.
See,
he's not.
I see it completely different.
4th and 5 from the Houston 28. He goes for that against the Chiefs. He did go for that against the Chiefs on that Thursday night game.
But he explained why he went for it against the Chiefs, because you need touchdowns to beat the Chiefs. He didn't feel like they needed touchdowns to beat the Texans. He thought they could beat them with field goals. And so that's why he was kicking field goals.
Exactly why I agree with you on this. I don't agree with your general statement that saying if you try hard, you will beat a team. I don't believe in that. I believe that this is Brandon Staley's fault.
Yes.
Completely. 100% on Staley, on the coaching staff, to not have your team prepared. I don't care who you're playing. I really don't. And this is why when I come on here and I slam the Vikings, which I will later, who do I blame? Do I blame Justin Jefferson? Do I blame Dalvin Cook? Do I blame Harrison Smith? No, I blame the coaching staff, because when you watch a game, you can tell if the Chargers didn't lose this game because guys were fumbling on the goal line like they did against the Chiefs. Like, the Chargers lost this game because they were ill-prepared to face the Texans team. That's just simple as that. In my opinion, they were ill-prepared to face this team. And that is Brandon Staley's fault, 100%. But to go back to the whole, they can beat this team with field goals, that's not what he said. What he said against the Chiefs was, our identity is that, to be aggressive, to make these plays. I don't know what happened between Chiefs and Texans, but he clearly lost faith in his team to execute those plays. That's what I think.
I disagree with that particular point, because I do believe the loss is on him. We agree on that. But what I think what we're separating from is this. He thinks that you need touchdowns to beat the Chiefs. If they were playing the Bills this following Sunday, he would be going for it on fourth down, because he would believe that you need touchdowns to beat Josh Allen. He doesn't believe you need touchdowns. He believes you need scores to beat the Houston Texans. So he was going at it the traditional route, because he knew, or he thought, that they could pull away from them at some point during the game, and it just never happened. And so that's why I think he went for field goals as opposed to going for it on fourth down from the 26-yard line, when against the Chiefs, he absolutely would have gone for it on 4th and 10 from the 26-yard line, because he feels like you need touchdowns in that situation. If they came into that game ready to play, I think this conversation would be mute. We would be like, oh, we expected them to win. But guess what? They expected to win. From the Tuesday when they start studying film on the Texans, they went, this team's terrible. We're going to kill them. It doesn't matter who we have. As long as we got the quarterback, we'll be all right. And it wasn't because guys were not locked in.
Yeah, I just think that, listen, Brian, we're not even breaking news because our opinion is just fact. After the game, Brandon Staley said the same thing that we are.
I just didn't coach well enough today. I didn't coach well enough. Didn't put our guys in good enough positions to be consistent in the game. And that's why we lost.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from the embarrassment. It doesn't take away for the inexcusableness of it. Like, just because there's a clear reason why they lost. And also they did have a bunch of bad plays. A fumble, the pick 6 by Herbert was bad.
Terrible.
When Herbert is bad, it's funny because his numbers don't look terrible. But when he's off, he's really off. And what I mean by that is the timing of the interceptions are really bad with him. Very, don't get mad, don't start yelling at me, but very Phillip Rivers-esque.
Oh my God.
Very Phillip Rivers-esque. It's the timing of the interceptions with Herbert that stand out to me. It's not that he's bad. I know I've said he's bad before. He's bad with timing. Like, the interceptions come at really bad times with him. It feels like momentum switches big, or he just does it in bad positions on the field. He has an innate ability to just throw an interception at a really bad time. There's never a good time, obviously, but they just seem bigger when he does it. Like, that pick 6 was the dagger. It was over after the pick 6.
Well, yeah. Anytime you do a pick 6 that late in the game, it's pretty much over, regardless of what's happening, because onside kicks are so rare. I don't take Sunday's loss for more than what it was, a loss to a bad team, because I still believe that this team is still in their own control of what happens going forward.
Yeah, but when you say that, now they're not, though, because now they are not in control of their own destiny. Now they have to rely on other teams losing as well, which is why I say that the magnitude of it in Week 16 becomes bigger. Like, it's not just one other loss, because Week 16, now you only have 2 shots to get back in. Can they? Yeah, but will they? I don't know, because they don't control their destiny anymore. Now they're the 8 seed. Now they're out of the playoffs right now, and they're behind all this tight-knit AFC North teams that all have to play each other. But they are not. They don't control their destiny. Now they got to find a way to catch up to the Ravens, which they're tied with as a record. But now they're a game behind the Patriots, a game behind the Colts, a game behind the Bills, and a game behind the Bengals.
All who played. I mean, again, this loss is one of the worst, and losing to any of the other teams left would not be worse than this one. But the teams that they have left to play are an easier schedule than the 3 teams ahead of them. The Ravens play the Rams, and then they play
the
Steelers.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a big believer in the Steelers, but we've seen the Rams are really jockeying for position to win their division. So they're going to come out locked in looking to win, despite what they did this weekend. And I feel the same way with the Steelers. The Steelers are still fighting for something.
Yeah.
So I think that the Ravens have a far harder schedule ahead of them. I think the Colts will be able to pull it out because of what they do more emphasis on the run game.
Yeah, the Colts, they play the Jaguars and the Raiders. The Bills play the Falcons and the Jets, 2 of the worst teams in the league. The Bengals play the Chiefs and the Browns, so that's difficult. You could see some movement there. And if the Ravens get Lamar Jackson back, we all know they're a different team.
Right.
So, I mean, that's like the Ravens started Josh Johnson yesterday.
Again.
So, Josh Johnson started a game with the Jets this year.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then he got cut. 10 days later, he's with the Ravens. Huntley gets COVID. Lamar's hurt. So the Ravens, all of a sudden, they've lost 4 in a row. Like, they were 8-3, and now they're 8-7. They put themselves in this hole because even with Lamar, they didn't look all that great those games against the Steelers and the Browns. So I'm not telling you the Chargers are dead. I really am not. I think they're too talented to call them dead. What I will always say about the Chargers is I have no trust, no faith, no belief that they will easily go and beat the Broncos and the Raiders. None whatsoever. None. I don't trust them. Never will trust them. Don't trust the coach. Don't trust the quarterback yet. Sorry. You can tell me all you want about Herbert and his stats and all that, but I'm not convinced.
I think in a division situation, anything is possible. So I wouldn't sit here and tell you that they're guaranteed locks for these wins either, because these are division games. And again, the Vikings have beat the Packers this year because division games are unpredictable.
Exactly.
All year has been unpredictable. So I don't know, but I believe in what I've seen this year. and I think that they should be able to at least beat the Broncos. And
But they got crushed by the Broncos in Denver.
So perfect. This goes back to what I was speaking about. What happened on Sunday? You will have the team's full attention because they got creamed by this team last time, and then they got clearly manhandled yesterday. So guys' antennas will be up this week. They will be ready to go on Sunday.
And just because they will try harder, they will win that game, right?
Focus and trying hard, baby. That's all you need. Effort, man. Effort.
That's a new one, dude. That is a new one. All right. As a general statement, Browner, let me ask you, or a general question, let me ask you this. Has Brandon Staley made the Chargers better from last year to this year?
I mean, that's a complicated question. So I would say yes. I would say yes because he's made their offense more aggressive. Their defense has slightly regressed, but with COVID, there's been so many ins and outs. It's hard to really have some stability.
Let's focus on the slightly regressed on the defensive part, because he did come in as this highly touted defensive coordinator because he led the Rams to the #1 defense last season. And what did me and Scott tell you? He's not bringing Jalen Ramsey with him. He's not bringing Aaron Donald with him. He's not bringing those two guys with him. So when you say slightly regress, let me show you this, because I looked it up and I wanted to see. And this is the regression, the trending down. From last year, yards per game, they went from 10th last year to 21st this year. From pass yards, 9th to 11th, still pretty good. But the rush defense has been brutal. Last year, they were 18th. This year, 29th. And Browner, this part blew my freaking mind. The Chargers give up the second most points per game in the NFL. Only better than the Jets. Only better than the Jets.
Oy. Hey,
Let me say that again, because I don't know if people heard me. The Chargers give up the second most points in the NFL.
I would attribute
all that talent.
I would attribute the defense
27.4 points per game.
I would attribute the defensive line struggles to COVID and injuries and guys being moving parts, guys being in and out. Bosa's been in and out. They've had all guys on their defensive line be in and out. That equals a really, really, really difficult run stopping defense. So I would say that has more to do with that, because clearly if the pass defense is still good, the secondary is fine. Or is it they're just running more because it's easier to run than it's harder to pass?
Well, they let go of Denzel Perriman, who's a Pro Bowler with the Raiders. I think he leads the league in tackles. And Jerry Tillery hasn't played like a first rounder, even though that they drafted him the first rounder. And you say Joey Lowe's has been in and out of the lineup. As far as I know, I think he's only missed one game. And that was this week.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I'll look into that.
You don't have to. I just did.
One game missed. Week 16, so 14 games. He's only missed one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep.
Well, it showed.
It did show. But I think that's just a general thing. I think this is my Charger hater segment, and then we'll move on to something else, because then I'll just start trashing my own team the next segment. But I mean, this is just the highly touted, the highly respected, the highly hyped Brandon Staley, who was this defensive guru, who's come in and made you worse.
I wouldn't say, but again, I wouldn't say worse, because I think that the rush defense. Oh, okay. The rush defense has been worse. The points per game thing is baffling to me. But I mean, they score a lot, so you tend to give up more when you score more because the other team has the ball. So I don't know, man. That's the points part. I'm baffled by.
I feel like I blew your mind a little bit.
The points part, you blew me away. I did not expect to see that.
I honestly was expecting 20th, 20-some, and
right, somewhere in the middle.
Right, I looked it up because I knew that their defense had gone worse. I actually never really looked at the numbers. You could just kind of tell. But points per game, they allowed 27.4 points. Only the Jets are worse at 29.9. And that's I just looked it up again. They are second to last.
Also hired a defensive coach in Robert Saleh.
Right. Right. And last year they were 20th, 26.7 points per game. So yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Did you watch that game? Because it was a morning game. Did you watch, or was it the morning game? It was the morning game. Did you watch that whole thing and just they made look at what they did to the Texans. I can't stress how ridiculous this game was yesterday. Rex Burkhead, 149 yards rushing. That's a career high. That is the Texans' first 100-yard rusher of the season, by the way. Davis Mills, 22 of 27, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Texans had 400 yards of offense yesterday. That is only the second time they have reached that mark. The first time they did it was week 1 against the Jaguars.
There were times when I was watching that game, I really felt like did everybody get COVID or someone wearing other people's uniforms, because they had nothing. They had nothing, and even when they had nothing, they still were competing.
Yeah.
Roughly, they were beating a bad team, playing bad, which is what you should still be able to do. And then the
as
second
game
half
went on, that's the part that got me, because as the game went on, I don't know about you, I was like, oh, they'll stop Burkhead now. They'll stop Burkhead
Right.
now. They'll stop Burkhead. And they never
They
did.
never did.
They never did. All right, Brandon, we're going to come back and it's time to talk trash about my team. And I don't think we're going to be praising the Rams very much today, but we'll talk about that next. The Vikings losing to the Rams clinching a playoff spot. And because the Vikings lost, even though the Cardinals lost, they clinched a playoff spot too. So we'll talk about that next. This segment and this show is brought to you by Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Gary got me in this home. Gary can get you in your home. Call him 858-376-1299, 858-376-1299. Go to mountaintrustmortgage.com. If you want to buy, sell, refinance, there's only one guy, one team to call. I worked with them, and if I can buy a house, you can buy a house. They have a great team. So call Gary and his team, 858-376-1299. When we come back, what the hell, Vikings? Were you that bad? Yes, they are. Talk about it next.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Hey, it's Pharrell here, inviting you to catch my shows on the mightier 1090. We're on twice every Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Trust me, all the other sports stations are sleeping with your wife.
The all-new and mightier 1090. Right now at BMW San Diego, get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163 and BMWSanDiego.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Right now at BMW San Diego, get 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all in-stock 2018 and 2019 certified pre-owned BMW models. BMW San Diego, Kearney Mesa Road and the 163 and BMWSanDiego.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
San Diego State football won the Frisco Bowl on Tuesday night. The Aztecs took down UTSA 38-24 to earn their 12th win of the season, the first time in program history that SDSU has 12 wins in a season. Quarterback Lucas Johnson had a career-best 333 passing yards and 3 touchdowns while also rushing for a touchdown. Kicker-punter Matt Araiza had a 33-yard field goal and finished the season with an NCAA record 51.19 yards per punt. Araiza beat the record set by Texas A&M punter Braden Mann in 2018. SDSU trailed in the first quarter before taking the lead heading into the half. Then in the third quarter, they continued to hold off UTSA to get the bowl win. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon. And by Prospect Home Finance.
Arash Markazi here, inviting you to catch my show, The Arash Markazi Show, on the Mightier 1090. We are on every Monday through Friday from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join me and producer extraordinaire G. Hay Wiley, where we chop up Los Angeles sports and try not to piss too many people off.
The all-new and Mightier 1090.
Welcome to Team Mazda of El Cajon. Thank you for joining us to make the trip to San Diego's first Mazda retail evolution facility. It takes years and years to put all this together and to make Team Mazda a reality. Unbelievable thing here.
Thank you to John and Corinne for the opportunity. It's a privilege and an honor to say that this is the store I get to be the general manager of.
I do want to speak to what I have in my hand here. It is a big, heavy plaque representing the grand opening. So I want to present this to John, say thank you again.
We're very proud of the work that you're doing here. I commend you on your future prosperity. At this point, I want to invite you all outside to hear a drum demonstration.
Let's take it up a notch with Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Premium Boost, powered by the Mightier 1090 and by Prospect Home Finance.
Today, we proudly held the ribbon cutting ceremony for our new office in La Jolla, California. Here we are in the Merrill Lynch building, right in the middle of the village, and really, really happy to be part of this neighborhood. This is really special to Prospect in that it almost signifies the fact that we've grown up officially. We have survived the past 15 years by being very agile. We come to this one amazing location from 3 separate offices. So it's fantastic having everyone under one roof. This is going to do wonders in terms of streamlining our operations, being able to communicate with someone down the hall as opposed to someone who's several blocks away is going to be terrific. Our CEO, Jason Vondrak, he's a very humble person, but I know this day really, really means a lot to him in that he has led this company for 15 years. And he started this business out of a studio apartment. And look where we are now. That's huge. I think this new space signifies just endless possibilities for Prospects. I mean, we're headquartered in La Jolla, but we do business all around the country. So our goal is to be licensed to offer home financing in all 50 states, and we're well on our way.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's Premium Boost is powered by the Mightier 1090 and by Prospect Home Finance. You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Crews for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on YourView, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. and visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
The holidays are all about gathering with family and friends, and that's exactly how we're celebrating today.
At a working farm that echoes with the laughter of children and aglow with holiday lights.
Aww.
Today on
Su Vida.